Hello, my friend, and welcome to Secure Insecure, hosted by Johnny Seifert. This is a celebrity mental health podcast where I say it's okay to not be okay. And if you have the same match as me, whether you're watching or listening, leave a 5-star rating, click that follow button, and let's keep spreading the word it's okay to not be okay. Now, let me tell you about my guest today. My guest today danced her way through the aisles of Tesco's, glazed her way through the donut time dance floor, and waltzed onto the theatre stage, appearing in the past few years in SpongeBob the Musical, Heather and Six. Obviously, you know this. Her podcast, How Very Hannah, is my now go-to favorite podcast. So I was like, I need to get her on as a guest on Skin Insecure. She's become in the past 5 years the TikToker, the one that we all go and watch, the one that we look to inspire us, to make us laugh, and to just get a really good gossip. So without further ado, I'm delighted to say that joining me on Skin Insecure, it's the one that gives us her outfit of the day between 9 to 5. It's Hannah Lowther. Hello, Hannah.
Hello. Oh my gosh, what a lovely intro.
Were you the creator of "This Is My Outfit of the Day"? Da, 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 da,
Yeah,
da,
I
da?
mean, not originally the creator of the tune because it's actually the tune of Seize the Day from Newsies. Now's the time to seize the day. But I just changed the words to this is my outfit of the day and just made up a little jingle. What you'll learn about me is I love a jingle. Everything
Welcome to
needs to
radio, Hannah. Welcome to
well,
radio.
exactly. And that's so crazy because like when I was younger, I used to love listening to the adverts on the radio. Oh,
Mm.
0800 1060. I would sing along to all the jingles and all the adverts. Even at the cinema, I'd love watching the adverts. So like now I've got my own podcast and I'm like, okay, we need a jingle here, we need a jingle there, we need an opening number. Everything's so audio driven.
I was listening yesterday to the 7.5 minutes of Something Rotten's It's a Musical, and it goes, oh,
Oh
we're
my
going to do
God.
this, and we're going to do that, and we'll have it with Annie. And I was, that's Annie, and that's Les Mis, and that's a bit of Chicago.
Oh, that is such an amazing song. That is actually part of the inspo behind the opening number for How Very Hannah.
I thought so.
Getting as many musical references as I possibly can in there.
Well, it's all about puns, isn't it? And but we were talking about is representative. So the outfit of the day, were you? So you
Oh,
were the one who came up with the jingle. Obviously, it was from Newsies, but you were the one on TikTok who did it, and then everyone just copied it, and suddenly that little thing went viral, which is what everyone now does when they're talking about their outfits.
yeah. So I think I was just wearing a really cute outfit one day and I wanted to show it off. And I didn't want to stand there and just go, so this is my outfit. Because obviously I didn't invent outfit of the day. Lots of people used that phrase already. I didn't create the phrase. And I thought, how can I do this in a stagey, fun, Hannah way? So I just made up a little jingle and then anytime I was wearing a different outfit or if I was in my work clothes or in a costume, I would just make sure I've done an outfit of the day. And it's a really good little jingle, a little tune, and people sing it to me in the streets, which is so funny because I made it so long ago. I made that original video, I think it was 2021. So that was 4 years ago, and people still sing it at me, which is so cute and so funny. I feel like I need to get merch that says this is my outfit of the day or something.
Well, that is literally yeah. Yeah, but did you not do it at Olivia's recently? Did I not see a video of you at Olivia's doing it?
Oh my God, probably any
I'm
any
sure that
event,
I've seen
any
you do that. Yeah.
outfit, I try my best to get an outfit of the day video. Sometimes I forget, but
And then
yeah,
you're
I
like,
love it.
damn, it's content. I need the content
Yes,
back.
oh, I live for the content.
I'm
I
gonna let
actually
everyone
do. It's
down.
so funny. Someone asked me, "What's your pre-show ritual?" And in my head, I thought content. I can't think of a pre-show ritual that I do. It's just if I'm in costume and I'm about to do the show and I have 5 minutes spare, my ritual is get as much content as possible. Which is obviously where having kind of two careers really that are running at the same time really comes in. And it's using like every minute to try and get as much as possible.
But I think that's really nice because you've got the two aspects of like when you did SpongeBob, it was very much this is what's going on stage and this is my Karen outfit and how I changed. But then when you're doing Six, it was a lot of backstage stuff with the cast. And so you're showing that whole peek behind the curtain, but not just a peek behind the curtain on stage, but also off stage as well. And off stage is as important as on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think actually when I did SpongeBob, my content did take a bit of a dip. I didn't film as much content there. And I think that partly came with being on a UK tour. I really struggled whilst on that tour, really, to find the time and the energy and the brain power to film content because touring in musical theatre is just exhausting. And we were weekly touring, so in a different venue every single week, which meant sleeping in a different bed every single week, getting used to new places. And yeah, it definitely took its toll. And my content definitely did take a dip within that time. I had a great time. Obviously, I have such amazing memories to look back on from that show. And it was, I don't know if you've ever seen SpongeBob, but it is a crazy kooky show. But it was great, great fun. But the actual touring aspect of it was really tricky. And it was like, I'm the type of person that lives by routine and structure, and I love having that and having somewhere to be at a certain time and planning my day around that. So touring is weird because you're all of a sudden in a new place every week and you don't know where the nearest food shop is. And then it's like, shall I bother doing a food shop because my hotel room doesn't even have a fridge or I can't even cook, so I might as well. And then you end up eating out every day, and it's these all these things that at the time, if I was to tour now, I think I'd be a bit more organized and grown up about it. But at the time, I just was. I remember I was like having a Greg's sausage roll and then doing a two-show day just on that, and then being like, right, and then I'll have a Mackie, and then I'll go to bed, and then like it was just because you can get a Greg's in every single UK town, several of them. So I was just doing that every day, and yeah, that wasn't the lifestyle for me at the time. And yeah, my content did take a bit of a hit, but we came back strong with six. And I absolutely loved sharing all the behind the scenes stuff and showing what it's really like.
Well, in between the two shows of those, you were also at Wimbledon Panto with Dick and Dom and Ruthie Henschel. And it was that weird year that they had, I think there were six star names. Sometimes they only go for like three, sometimes even one. And that year they had six. I can't remember who else it was. It was Dick and Dom, them. Was Shane Ritchie in that one with you?
No, it was Dick and Dom, Ruthie Henschel, Brenda Edwards, Lee Mead,
Lee Mead.
Matthew Kelly,
That was it, Matthew Kelly.
Don
Love Matthew
Archer,
Kelly.
and me.
And you. But it was brilliant. It was Snow White, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was
Yeah,
a
it was
brilliant.
brilliant. I love that one. I love Wimbledon Panto every single year, but that one was the standout one for me, I think, after all the years, but also because I know Dick and Dom really well. And
They're great.
they saw me, and I think I was about four rows in the front. And so when they saw me at the end with the water pistols, they just went for me. I was like, Dad, you see that? I know them. I know them. So how did you find doing that with content though? Because when you're doing six and you've got lots of young people who get it, when you're doing a show like that, someone like Matthew Kelly's never been on social media. Lovely, 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 lovely guy that doesn't do social. Brenda obviously does her corridor walks for Loose, but it's a very different discipline to when you're doing six or Heathers and everything's in the TikTok world.
Hmm. I found that actually Dick and Dom were amazing with content. I turned into their unofficial social media manager, I feel, for the month. And I was like, guys, there's this trend that you need to just get on and jump on and let's film it now. We've got a break. Let me film it for you. So we were kind of doing that together for a time, but obviously that's kind of a new thing for them as well. So they did like it and they did enjoy it. And Dom has his home
It's home
renovation
renovations, yeah.
out as well. And yeah, I did some corridor dressing room singing with Brenda. But honestly, that month I felt it was weird because that was actually before SpongeBob, and I'd just gone from Heather's and doing lots of, I'd say, like community vibe shows. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but at the other palace, it's two dressing rooms, you know, and that you're all in there together. You're surrounded by people every day. It's, good vibes in that respect. And I'd just gone from that. And then I did Millennials, which was again a really group vibe. There was one dressing room, we were all crammed in. And then I went to do Panto, and I all of a sudden had this dressing room to myself. And it was actually a real shock to the system. And as much as Panto is meant to be the best time ever, and everyone always goes, oh, you Panto is so much fun. I don't look back on that month and think that was the best month of my life, because I did feel quite lonely on that job. I don't want to be like, oh, woe is me, because it was an amazing job and it was amazing to be, the title role of a show in such a stunning, huge theatre in London. But I'd gone from, sharing dressing rooms and being the ensemble and having a real group ethic, if in a way, if that's the right word. And then all of a sudden to just kind of being by myself. And Snow White has scenes with people here and there, and then you do the scene and then you go back to your dressing room and chill for, I don't know, 20 minutes until you're in the next scene. And it was quite a difficult month actually. And I got a bit ill as well. So that was my first experience of the burnout from the whirlwind of getting Heathers and going through that whole experience to then finishing in kind of December. I got quite sick. So yeah, Panto was brilliant. And I do look back on it and think, oh yeah, that was good fun. But also it wasn't the best time. I was quite lonely.
let's delve into that a little bit more with your mental health journey, because this whole thing of the pandemic, which is kind of where your journey, as far as I understand, begins, really. I know you did the little tours when you were younger in Chitty, etc., but this was like the big moment that you thought, right, I want to be a West End star, but I've got to work in Tesco's because I need to pay bills. And so you're working in Tesco's and you're going, right, what's my purpose in life? My purpose is to be on the theatre. And if I do a bit of socials, hopefully it'll get me there. You build it up, you do Heathers and etc. And you then get to that moment that you're the star. Hannah is the star name on that billing for the Wimbledon Pando for the first time. And yet it wasn't what you thought. So let's go back all the way to Testbourne Community School and work our way back to that. I know,
Wow,
we're going all the way back.
done your research.
Hannah, so let's go back there. What was Hannah like in school?
I was the kid that did every single club possible, mainly because I didn't want to be outside in the cold at lunchtime. But I did every single club. I was involved in everything I possibly could. And quite often in all the sports teams, I was the substitute and I would sit on the bench and I'd be like, woo, go team. And I was just living my best life. I was quite a good student, really. I think the revising and stuff used to stress me out a little bit and I procrastinate a lot, but I love tests. I love that sounds so nerdy, but I love tests. I love sitting down and getting a test and be like, right, like I've done all the work I can possibly do and now I just have to prove myself. And it came up recently actually where we were talking about how I actually kind of like auditions. And I think that's kind of stemmed back from the school days where actually I used to quite like doing tests at school because you don't have to do any extra learning as such. It's just proving what you can do. Yeah, and that's come through to me kind of liking auditions in a weird way. I think I had a really good group of friends around me, a lot of whom were really open to doing clubs and doing dancing and singing. And we were part of a choir together. And I remember we went on a group trip with the school choir to Italy, which was very dramatic, as all school trips probably are. I think I really liked school. I missed a little bit of year 7 because I was touring with Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So that was a weird kind of experience because I just moved to this new secondary school and then I was doing 2 weeks on tour, 1 week at school, 1 week on tour, 2 weeks at school, and kind of alternating it. And I didn't want to, at the time, explain to all my classmates, oh yeah, I'm like doing this musical, like, which is looking back, I should have been screaming and shouting about it because that's a really cool thing. But at the time, I just kind of kept it quite hush hush because I didn't massively want to stick out in year 7 as this kid who's off doing musicals. But I think as I went through school, I kind of learned to just embrace that and do what I wanted to do and got on fine. And I met my boyfriend at secondary school, who I'm still with today. So it was good for something, at least.
Did it harm your friendships and also relationships prior to your boyfriend? Did you struggle kind of in those, when you're 12, 13, 14 years old of going, I want to have these friends and they're inviting me over on Saturday night, but actually on Saturday I'm in Dundee and now I can't come back and therefore, are they just going to leave me behind? And I've got to play catch up almost to make sure I'm still involved because I've got to overcompensate because they're not going to be doing it for me.
That more came into play after secondary school when a lot of my friends went to sixth form college together and I went off to drama school. And it was at that point where my friendships started to not become strained, but just you have to put in a bit more work into these relationships, into these friendships to make them work. And also being in a new place, being in drama school and being surrounded by a group of people that all want to do the exact same thing as you and like relating so much on that level was an amazing thing. But yeah, I definitely saw friendships from school and kind of time management kind of struggle in a way. And if you're training all week, Monday to Friday, really intensely, I used to speak to some of my friends from school and they'd say, oh yeah, I had one lesson today at 2 p.m. and that was it. And I used to be like, oh, what? Oh my gosh, I've been dancing from 8:30 till 6 p.m. and they didn't give me a lunch break, which is wrong and shouldn't be happening. And it doesn't anymore, thank God.
Just
Um,
to clarify there for
just
anyone
to
listening,
clarify,
no
yeah,
one sue me.
for anyone wanting to go to drama school, it's not like that anymore. At the time, I was so grateful for all this training and so grateful to be doing what I loved, but it was intense. And when it got to the weekends, I thought, there's no way I can see my friends this weekend. I need to rest. I need to eat. I need to watch telly and just decompress after a week of intense training.
But then it's kind of going, well, who is Hannah? You know, if we take Heathers, for example, you weren't Heather 1 only, you're Heather 2, and then you're Heather 3. And so suddenly you're three Heathers plus Hannah. You know, that's four identities. Then I've got to be the friend, then I've got to be the girlfriend, then I've got to be the daughter, and I've got to be this and that. How did you even know how to navigate life of going, I'm in this really weird whirlwind, I'm playing all these characters, I've got to know everything, and yet nothing at the same time?
I think we never really know how to navigate these situations. I think we're all going through life for the first time, I think. And if you have the right people around you, the right people surrounding you and supporting you, then people are going to be understanding that you're going to be stretched and your time's going to be stretched and you might not be able to put as much time into certain relationships, certain friendships, certain even things for yourself, certain hobbies, self-care. You're not going to have as much time to do that. But I think surrounding yourself with the right people that are supporting you through that and not making you feel bad for having different focuses some days. I think that's key.
But it's also that thing as well that you're navigating this world through social media that's giving you this celebrity status as well. That means that you're probably invited to a lot of celebrity do's and galas and press nights and things. And so it's kind of going, okay, I've got my home friends and now I've got my showbiz friends, jazz hands, you know, and it's a very different hand that's being given. And when I'm with my home friends, I really need to be introverted because I've got to save all that energy for the extroverted Hannah that's putting the glitter on and I'm really going out there.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of the time my decompress mode is when I get home and it's just me and my partner and the dog and we're on the sofa and we're chilling and that's the time I get to kind of chill out. And I always say that I have Hannah Lowther mode. So I have what's weird is like when your brand is you. So imagine, I don't know, my brand is Tesco. I own that brand. The brand that I own is me. And sometimes there's Hannah Lowther the brand and then Hannah Lowther the person. And as much as Hannah Lowther mode, it is me. It's just an extended version of me. It's a filtered version of me, the me that I choose to share with the world. And then there's the me at the core. And sometimes after long events, actually, recently we had a launch party for How Very Hannah. Um, and I wear a fitness tracker on my wrist. And I finished the event and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. And I looked at the stats on my fitness tracker and it said that I was doing intense exercise for 3 hours just from me being at this party and being in like showbiz mode and chatting to all my friends. And don't get me wrong, I had a great time. It was the best time. And I was honestly surrounded by a room of people that want the best for me and they're my friends. But when you're in that like hosting mode and showy mode, it really does take it out of you. So I do need to have those times where I'm just decompressing at home and I'm around people who know who I am at my core.
So how does that then impact when you are going on either the tours or you're being booked for a show like Six that you did for 2 years? That because the way I look at it is when I go away to Tenerife twice a year, and I need those 2 weeks to just walk up and down a swimming pool with a book every day. And so I'll read 8 books, and I just need to switch off. Whereas when you're being booked for a show, and it's like, where is my next holiday? And sometimes it's going like, I'm going to be ready for holiday in 3 months' time, but yet at the same time, I've got to be on stage, so I can't take that week. And so, how do you find switching off and actually having that time to really just be Hannah again so that you can have that impact? Because you can't be high all the time, but also you can't be low all the time.
Yeah, I think I honestly can't tell you recently when I've had a week where I've been able to switch off for the whole week. Um, I'm obviously super lucky though for all these experiences and to be busy. I just try and take every day, a little bit of time every day, and I think that all adds up. Even if I had a week's holiday, I'll still be creating content or I'll still be getting back to emails or posting, even just posting stuff that's been pre-filmed, posting that or getting back on deadlines and stuff like that. I don't think at the moment, certainly, or I don't foresee in the near future that I'll be able to just take a whole week to completely have a break and completely decompress. I keep using that word. I can't think of a better word. Um, but that's okay. I'm okay with that at the moment. I think I always say I'll sleep when I'm dead. Do you know what I mean? But I do want to be careful that I'm not overworking myself. And I definitely understand myself and my body a lot more than I used to. And I know when it's all getting a bit too much for me. And I know my boundaries now. And if I've got a really busy week, I know I have people around me that are amazing support system. That if I was having a really busy week and I had a meeting on a Friday that had to go into London for, I know that if I was really feeling it, I could just say, I'm so sorry, please can we reschedule that meeting? And people are understanding of that. And I do think it's really important to not feel bad for that. If it was a physical injury, which is something I experienced when I was doing six, I actually got hit by a bike on the Strand and I got hit by a push bike and broke my elbow. So I was off work for, 2 months. I didn't do the show for 2 months. And when it was a physical injury, it was totally okay that I was off work. And it really put things into perspective that with your mental health, it should be the same. If you're having a day where you wake up in the morning and you've got to do a show, but you're actually having a really bad mental health day, I'm trying to put it into perspective of, okay, if I woke up in the morning and I had a really bad pain in my hamstring, would I be able to do the show? No. So it's kind of trying to think of it in that way. I do find time to relax, but at the moment it is very busy. I know the signs of burnout in myself, and I think it's really important to just stay on top of that.
Amazing. Well, finally, let's talk about How Very Hannah. The reason I haven't come to it yet is because I'm really jealous that I never thought of the idea and gave you this podcast. So there's a lot of bitterness. When it got announced, I was like, damn, I should have done that. Should have done that. So, for those who haven't listened to it, because I absolutely love it, what is How Very Hannah?
How Very Hannah is a stagey, chaotic musical theatre podcast. We don't take ourselves too seriously around here, and it's kind of all of the fun parts of musical theatre, but also kind of diving into things that people might not know about and might not understand, and just trying to educate and give advice to people that might be working in musical theatre or might be doing it as hobby when they're younger. And we kind of deal with dilemmas, and we have a hotline where people can ask us questions and stuff like that. And we also have very exciting stagey guests coming on to chat, some of which are my friends, some of which are people that I'm like literally fangirling about when they walk into the studio. So yeah, it's all very fun, very stagey, and kind of just silly, just silly, goofy fun. And we play lots of games. And yeah, it's a nice escape.
That's it. That's how literally it's desertification for the brain. It's escapism. You can just actually just switch off for a bit, have a laugh, and just ignore what's going on in the world. Hannah, I can't thank you enough. Your podcast, How Very Hannah, is out to download and watch on YouTube now. So is Securely Insecure. So what you got to do, guys, is follow Securely Insecure, follow How Very Hannah where you're listening to your podcast. Leave the 5-star rating for both. Leave a little review. Then go on YouTube, How Very Hannah at Securely Insecure podcast. Click the follow buttons there. Then I know we're giving you a lot. Go on to Instagram and then to TikTok at Johnny Seifert at Security and Secure Podcast on Instagram at Johnny Seifert 92 on TikTok is where you can find me. Hannah, where can people find you?
You can find me at Hannah Lowther on Instagram and TikTok, and then at howvery_Hannah for the How Very Hannah Instagram and TikTok.
So you've got to follow 4 accounts. So 2 Instagram accounts, 2 TikTok accounts, 2 YouTube accounts, and then 2 podcast accounts. And once you've done that, you can collapse and give yourself a round of applause. You've
You're
been
free.
watching, you're free. You've been watching So Good Insecure with me, Johnny. So if you like what you heard, please do give that rating. It really means a lot to us as we continue saying it's okay to not be okay. I'm Johnny Seifert. Thanks so much. Until next time, thank you and goodbye.